Hey everybody, this is Cole with Indianapolis Cars and Coffee. This week we're going to be sharing some content at Mecum here with their annual spring auction, so come along with us and see what kind of cool rides we're about to see.
Welcome to the Mecum Indianapolis Spring Classic here at the Indianapolis, Indiana State Fairgrounds. Cole McCardle, Indy Cars and Coffee, Josh from Motor Vault. Welcome, how are you?
We got a week in store for us here at Mecum. There's going to be a lot of cool cars. I'm more interested a little bit to hear your special knowledge with all these rides we have coming through Mecum. Come along with us as we check a lot of cars going through the block and a lot of history here that we have with Mecum. Josh, what's your favorite part about coming here?
It's seeing the variety. There's nowhere else really in the Midwest where you're able to see the insane variety of cars. I mean, we have a Fiero GT next to us. We've got a 41 Willys. We've got a McLaren Elva, the Black Ghost Challenger. Anything that you could think of, it's probably going to be here.
Totally agree. Mecum does such a great job with this annual event here for the city of Indianapolis. The people that come out, we're here trying to unite all the enthusiasts. Out of curiosity, Josh, if there's a decade of cars that you're most excited to see, we know Mecum's a little bit heavier with the muscle cars here in Indy, but if there's something other than that, what do you want to see while you're here this week?
I'm really curious to keep following the market on the 80s and 90s really clean enthusiast sports cars, because that's the next group of cars that really is going to explode in price in my guesstimation, because those people who grew up with those cars are now really starting to get to a point where they're comfortable in life and they're looking for that first or second collector car. So, you know, we've already seen it with the Turbo Supras. We've seen it with the Grand Nationals. It's what's going to be that next car. What's going to be that next bit that's just going to explode and really be the next muscle car from a value standpoint. I
totally agree with you there. And to your point about the next generation of collectors, we're starting to see that age group within the mid-40s starting to look at cars that they had posters on their walls as kids. I think about early 2000s Porsche 911 turbos, and even going back to the 90s, we're starting to see those types of individuals. Paul Walker's Nissan Skyline that just was auctioned off here recently, we're starting to see that type of demographic really deploy a lot of dollars into these types of cars. So as we start to see that transition from the 60s and 70s, it'll be really interesting here over the next couple of years to see how that moves into the 80s and 90s generation cars.
Absolutely. I think to piggyback off of what you're just saying, the Nissan Skylines are really going to keep taking off, since now the R34s are legal in the States. You can start importing them. So there's a car here, there is an R32 V-Spec that is super low miles that runs on the weekend. So that is going to be a car to watch. That could be easily a six-figure car. Stuff like that really trips my trigger, but in reality, we're at a collector car auction. I love it all.
Josh, I think it's safe to that most all cars, no matter what dollar amount, probably trip your trigger. Wouldn't you say that?
It's anything that's enthusiast-based, man. Anything that's got a motor, sounds cool, looks cool, has got character, I'm all about it.
That's right.
The energy's there. We're here. We're having a good time.
Cheers. Can you tell us why we're standing next to this car and its significance of why it's here at Mecum today?
Yes. So I'm with Motor Vault. We're a collector car dealership here in Indianapolis. We have a lot of involvement with Indy Cars and Coffee, for one. We love what they do, but the reason why we're here in front of this car, this is one of our cars here in the auction. This is a 1941 Willys Coupe. It's a hot rod. It is actually a 2012 built car, even though it's a 1941. It's styled and such. But hot rod, 5.7 liter HEMI, 2-speed automatic with the overdrive.
Can I butt in real quick? What's a 2-speed automatic? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, it's basically a 2-speed transmission that is built for a car that has power. So it's a very drag racing friendly style transmission.
I see, okay.
Yes, so you could absolutely just drop it and go. So we got this car. We have it here running today on Tuesday of Mecum. I love the old hot rods. This one's a really unique special build. It's only got 1,800 miles on it. It's fresh, it's ready to rock. The red with the tan with the Shelby wheels on it. It's got the look, it's got the sound. I love these cars personally. and I'm really excited to see what this one goes for here today.
And Josh, what's the displacement on this motor we have here?
Well, that the 5.7 should be the 345 cubic inch.
Okay.
So it's it
packs a punch for how little that car is.
Oh yeah. So this is a modern HEMI. This is a 2005 2010 HEMI, just, straight out of a Charger. So it'll move. It's close to 400 horsepower.
We'll catch you maybe night ripping down Keystone maybe in this thing.
Oh yeah, it'll rip. it'll smoke some down Broad Ripple.
That's right.
What's happening? I'm Josh from Motor Vault, and what do we have here? We've got a classic 1967 Ford Mustang, Brittany Blue, America's pony car. Absolutely love these. We're representing this car here today at Mecum. It's been beautifully restored, 289 under the hood, factory air conditioned. It's a cruiser, it's ready to go. Cars and coffee, whatever you may, it's an American icon.
This thing's straight speed. We see these all the time at Cars and Coffee. Josh, what would you say is your favorite part about this generation of Mustangs?
The look is hard to beat. It's a staple of American history and design. There are so many cars from this era. You could go to a car show and say, oh, is that a GT? Oh, is that a Chevelle? They're going to look similar. Nothing looks like an early 60s Mustang. They are so unique. They're so special. The front ends are just so to die for. And then the color to match, the color palette on these cars were brilliant. And this Brittany Blue is one of my two favorite colors ever produced on a Mustang. It really sets the tone for the 1960s, the sound of the 289, just the whole package. It's the Mustang. It is what it is, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, I can tell you really like this one. I do too. What I really appreciate about this color is you can see how this color has kept with Ford over the years, not only in their Mustangs, but in the other vehicles they produce. In addition to even the modern day Mustangs, you start to see touches of this color. If not, I can't speak for a whole body paint job in this color, but maybe in some of the stripes and accents. The
newer GT500, the Heritage Package car, is actually Brittany Blue. It's a different shade, but it is Brittany Blue. So they have continued that on in a part of their heritage. So to show that these have aged brilliantly, they've used so many design cues from these cars on the modern cars. When Ford and Lee Iacocca and that team from Ford designed these, they nailed it, no question. People our age in our 20s and 30s, we still love them. They are a generational car.
Agreed.
Cole, do you know much about the old 4x4s? Is this something that gets you excited?
A little bit more than the Mustang, to be honest. I like this Scout that we're looking at is more of what I see as a preservation vehicle. Looks like to be unrestored. It really kind of takes me back to when I used to live in northern Michigan. I could totally see McKeel Haggerty rolling through Leelanau County, Michigan in one of these Scouts, of just through the cherry orchards and everything. So really appreciate these Scouts. I think they're great cars, but I'll ask you, really, what makes one of these international Scouts stand out? It seems like the past 5 to 10 years, these have really gone up in value. Clearly, we see this unrestored here at Mecum, which kind of sticks out to me, being that it is not a pristine Scout that often we maybe see on Bring a Trailer or some other auction sites. So really, what's going on with these and why is that the case?
So it's really all started, in my opinion, with the Bronco. The Bronco is obviously a cult classic. Everyone loves the Bronco, and that's really kind of started the trend of why these are kind of going up. It's the vintage 4x4s. They're utilitarian. A lot of people have a lot of history with them personally. So now there's just a really cool demand for bringing these back to life and restoring them and restomodding them. But this one is unique because it is completely unrestored. We're representing this car as well.
Okay.
This is one family owned until 2020. It's built in 1973 with the 304 and the 4-speed and the 4-wheel drive.
Wow, good for that family for hanging on to this the whole time.
Owned, exactly.
That is cool to hear.
It's an heirloom. It's got all the patina. It's got the gun rack still inside. It's got the original welded on tie downs from the original owner. It has got, you can smell the history on this car.
Yes, and quite frankly, I think I can smell it. Probably from just standing right here. The interior in this car is very cool. You can clearly see here, if we come around, This interior is completely original, along with everything else. The radio inside, this is just a throwback in time to where
it is.
If we have a local buyer here in Indiana, what a cool cruiser for down in Brown County or something like that.
Oh, no question.
That's where at least I would take it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's even got the compass. It's got the stickers from when the gentleman's son would ride with them. It's the whole 10 yards of this. I mean, really, it's got so much character and cool original stuff, all the different cup holders. You can't replicate this. There is nothing you can do to replicate something like this. So finding a complete preservation class example is truly special in today's world where everything is getting restored and modified. No question about it. We love representing this one. It'll be sad to see it go, but that's why it's here.
Exactly.
So we just came from a preservation car, the International Scout. We've got another one. This one's really special. It's a 1966 Mustang GT. It is completely original. It's been once repainted, but everything on it is completely untouched. It is a real GT car, factory air conditioned, another iconic American classic. Cole, how are you feeling about all these unrestored preservation cars?
You know, it's a good change to see. I often don't really see a lot of them, so when I do come across this type of car, much like the Scout, it is pretty cool to see. About this Mustang, I really like this color. At first, it didn't really stand out to me, but once you get up close to it, you start to really appreciate it a lot, especially with the interior in this Mustang. Again, all completely original.
So, do you know what they call that interior package? It's a unique special package that they offered on the higher level Mustangs.
The Livonia, Michigan package? I'm not sure.
No, it was called the Pony Interior Package. So you'll actually see ponies racing each other on the seats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was a higher level, two-tone leather interior. Very, very special, very cool, high level. Again, vinyl top car, air conditioned. This one was loaded out. This one was built for daily cruising. And the fact that it's been untouched is a really unique thing.
So do you know off the top of your head how many, back in the 60s, how many options could you spec out a Mustang with? Clearly it's not as much as today.
The list on the options on those cars probably almost went as long as your shirt. I mean, it was a really long list, but the Pony interior and the GT package were two right at the very top that everyone wanted to get, but not everyone did.
Yes.
You know, the percentage of GT cars and Pony interior cars is on the low end of what actually was offered. So
could you explain a little bit back in the day, like what's the difference with the GT versus just the traditional
Yeah,
Mustang?
so the GT would be a high performance package car. So it would have the 289 no matter what. It would have dual exhaust. It's got a little bit different suspension on it. It's got a different styling package on it. It's an entirely different upgraded package car.
Okay.
So it's similar to what we have for today, but it meant a lot more back in the day because the low performance versions weren't quick. Like today, the EcoBoost cars, they're still really quick, just not a Coyote.
Right. So from a preservation Mustang, the GTs obviously, if you're looking to buy one of these and hang on to it, they're going to be pulling more money at these auctions compared to the traditional Mustang.
Every time. See every day. Cole, do you have any idea what we're looking at if you didn't look at a tag?
No clue. It looks seven figures, but my question is, what seven-figure car doesn't come with a windshield?
The McLaren Elva is one of them. This car is a modern tribute by McLaren to a British sports car manufacturer called Elva that did lightweight little sports racers that was an inspiration to Bruce McLaren for his original open-top Can-Am and sports car racers in the 60s. The only difference is those maybe had 150, 200 horsepower from a little Cosworth.
A little bit different in this case.
Yeah, no, 804 horsepower, 590 foot-pounds of torque, 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds, one of 149 made in the world. Estimate on this one, $1.7 to $2 million. And the paint job on this one.
Absolutely incredible. On the video, I'm sure you can see the paint on this car. is second to none. It is just absolutely amazing. Just even the difference in lighting we have here at Mecum, you can see the various colors with this car. I can't imagine how it would shine in the daylight on a nice sunny day.
I have fortunately seen this color in person once before at Monterey Car Week on a 765 LT. It's called Pacific Color Stream. It is one of the most brilliant paint shifting colors ever conceived. And in the sunlight, it is an absolute mind bender. It is in here too, but it's just crazier out in the sunlight. And to have it on a car like this, it is absurd. It is awesome.
It looks great. For the buyer of this, just do us all a favor, put PPF on this car if it doesn't already have it on there. It would be absolutely terrible just to have bugs up in this grill, but I'm sure whoever buys this probably, as the enthusiast in me, I would love it if you're driving it around, but if this is parked for a while, so be it.
I'd love to see this thing rip around Putnam Park, man. You'd catch so much attention, and especially with the way these corner, it would be something else.
It would be great.
So we've got a little special interview coming up here with a very, very iconic, legendary street racing muscle car from Detroit, the 1970 Challenger Black Ghost. We have John Kraman from Mecum Auctions. John, how are you?
Hey man, it is good. This place is really getting revved up, and I will say, of the almost 3,000 cars we have here, this car is the center of attention. It's the rock star.
No question. So, you know about this car just a little bit from what I understand. So, I want you to kind of give the story about it, what makes it special, why is Dodge doing something about this car today, and what makes your heartstrings get pulled with this car?
Well, you know, there's a lot of great cars out there. We know that the original muscle car era began in 1964, and by the early 70s had wound down. And there are cars that are out there that are here at this auction, but then there are cars with a story, cars with a history that elevate them. The Black Ghost is one of those cars. Ordered, new, and bought and owned his entire life by a Detroit police officer, Gregory Qualls. GQ is what he liked to be called. And the car developed a reputation early on in its life as Gregory, in the late evening hours, would actually take the car out and go looking for folks to street race with it. A cop, a police officer.
In this one, he was active with the police force, correct?
He was with the Detroit Police Department as a motorcycle policeman for over 35 years. He was also a military vet, Purple Heart recipient. I mean, a great story and a great guy. But anyway, he would go out and he would race this car, and then he would, because he was worried about getting caught, he would disappear to the garage and you wouldn't see it again for a couple months. So the legend began of the Black Ghost. Fast forward to today, 2015, Gregory passed away, unfortunately, left the car to his family. They've consigned it to Mecum Auctions. It has been a whirlwind amount of promotion and interest in this car, to the point where even Dodge, for the final year of the current Hellcat platform engine, they have produced 300 special editions. We've got two of these cars here. One of them is actually for sale. So to see the original Black Ghost and then Dodge honoring the legacy of this car with their last call editions, the Black Ghost, is an automotive thrill, kind of a once-in-a-lifetime situation where the car and the story all intersects, going back to 1970, and then, of course, coming into the modern era as well. Hats off to Dodge for honoring the Black Ghost.
That's
and
awesome.
You know, we are going to be looking at multiple seven-figure bidding on this car when it crosses the block. You've been warned.
Yes, what a story. So if this does stay local here, be sure to contact us at Indianapolis Cars and Coffee. We would love to see you all come out and showcase this. But John, question for you. You noted that he would often go out and street race this car at night. Was there any inclination from the community or people that knew about this? When did this story really come out, and how did he fly under the radar, per se, for so long with this car?
Well, and that's really a really good part of the story, because the car was noteworthy back really through about 1975, 1976, and it had developed its name as a Black Ghost back then, Black Ghost, but then it was put away. And it didn't see the light of day until 2015, after his passing. It was kept in a garage. it was always part of the family, but it was no longer used. So now that the car is out, people that remember the car back, they've come out of the woodwork. They've been interviewed and they've told their stories about the remembrance of the cars. The actual guys that were actually racing against this car have now come out of the woodwork. Now that the true story is known and who the owner was, what the story of the car was, and I just want to make a final point about the car itself. It's in entirely original condition, and the options on the car. It's a HEMI. It's a track pack with 410 gears. It's a 4-speed. It's got the gator grain top. It's black. It's an RT with an SE package. Only a handful of these were built like this, and who knows how many are left. Perhaps the most valuable HEMI-powered muscle car era 1.0 example in the world right here.
And just so viewers can know, there is a documentary in some sort out there on the internet. Is that correct?
There are several really good lengthy stories on the Black Ghost. Just go ahead and Google Black Ghost YouTube, and there's some really good videos out there that'll help you fill in the blanks of the story. This is a part of American history, to the point where it's on the historic vehicle registry. It spent time on the mall in Washington, D.C. Only one of a handful of performance cars that ever had that honor. This car's that significant. It's fantastic.
Is there Indy 500 winners in there? One of the original Shelby Daytonas? I mean, special cars in that registry.
It's all those cars. In fact, it's kind of funny. Mecum has already sold 2 of the cars that were in the registry, the Bullet Mustang and the Hirohata Custom Merc. This will be the 3rd.
Wow.
I think there's only 32 or 33 cars in the registry.
3rd time's a lucky charm.
Right on,
special car. We're really excited to watch this come across the block, and everything that you guys do here at Mecum and with giving back to the city in Indianapolis and everything. Thank you so much.
Well, we appreciate everything you guys do. I mean, we know this is a car town, and we all love coming here and being a part of the community. And, this is what makes our world go round. And then the same thing with you guys. We appreciate the interest.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, John. Appreciate it. And this car goes Friday afternoon.
Yeah, be there or be square. You can catch the action on Motor Trend TV, part of the Discovery Channel. You can catch it on Motor Trend Plus, their streaming channel, or you can go to Mecum.com and dial in and watch it streaming as well.
Awesome. Thank you, John.
Thanks, guys.
The Black Ghost, 53 years in the future from the original that we have sitting right back behind us. Hellcat engine, 800 plus horsepower, the black paint, the white stripe on the back, the alligator styled roof. This is a modern tribute to the original Black Ghost. Dodge is making 300 of these to finish out the Challenger and the HEMI and the Hellcats before they go away here after 2024. And this is just a tribute to an icon from the streets of Detroit, which is also selling this weekend. They're going to be selling this one on Thursday. The original goes on Friday. It'll be cool to see what happens with both cars. The special Mopars continue at Mecum Indy. 1970 Cuda Rapid Transit show car. Have you ever seen anything like this?
To be honest, Josh, I don't even know what we're looking at here. I'll lean on you for the historical knowledge on this car here. Pretty badass, though. It's got the parachute out the back. Obviously, this thing's made to go fast. Tell us a little bit about this car and why it's here at Mecum right now.
So this car is running at no reserve, so it will sell no matter what the bid goes for. A car like this will get very strong bids and strong action. But what makes this car really special, this is a pre-production car, just like the white HEMI Cuda that we have for sale at Motor Vault. The first HEMI Cuda ever made, chassis 3. This car is chassis 5. It's a 446 pack car. The Rapid Transit show cars were all about crazy customization. There are only 4 Rapid Transit show cars made of all across Plymouth. This is the only one that Mecum has not sold. It is unrestored from era. It's got the paint cracks. It's got the wheelie bar, the fat slicks on it, and it's only got 900 plus original miles from brand new.
Wow. Quick question here. The Cuda that you all have seems pretty spec'd for the street, and you said there was only 4 or 5 chassis for these? How many?
Yeah, so there were only 4 different Rapid Transit cars across of all Plymouth's lineup of different models.
And what makes this one, why does this have such wide tires on it compared to the other Cudas? If
it's a show car. The car that we have is a bone stock pre-production HEMI car. This is a fully crazy, customized from Plymouth show car.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
this is literally all about, I am here, it's got the crazy front end on it. This is 1970s at its finest. It's wild. It's Mecum. We have a special guest in the house today, legendary car builder, Mr. Chuck Miller. Chuck, how are you, sir?
Fine, thank you.
Well,
Great day.
awesome day. So tell me a little bit about your background and why you are with this particular Cuda.
Well, this particular Cuda, I built it in 1970. Brand new Cuda that Chrysler was using for a road show, dealership shows all over the country. And I got the chance to build this one.
That's awesome. So why did you go with the paint scheme? Why did you go with the big old slicks on the back? What was your inspiration?
Well, Harry Bradley, very well-known designer in California, he did the artwork on it. He designed it, everything. The colors, scheme, everything he did. I just had the drawings to make it real. That's where that came from, but Harry designed it.
That's extremely special, and that's awesome. You're here with the car today. It's obviously been hidden away for a long time, and now it makes its public really debut and see what it's worth today.
It hasn't been shown, and it hasn't seen daylight in 50 years. Wow. The gentleman that found it, bought it, took it home, put it in the garage. That's it. He found it probably in '73 is when he found it, and took it home, put it away. He was afraid to drive it. He might get an accident, somebody going to steal it, get hurt. So I just put it away. He did that, and that's where it sits.
That's a piece of history.
Oh,
What a great
Oh,
story.
absolutely. It's history. It's just a great car. The VIN number is 5005. It's got less than 1,000 miles on it, and it was used just for dealership shows all over the country. That's what they used it for.
It's a legend. It's an icon. It's at Mecum. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. Have a great day.
Yes,
We'll
thank
know
you.
in a little while how it goes.
Yes, we will. The original Shelby Cobra, 1965 with the 289. Cole, I know you got a special feeling for these.
Yeah, this takes me back to a couple years ago, Ford vs. Ferrari came out. I mean, just the depiction of Carroll Shelby ripping around in one of these back in the day and how that has lived through society and where we're at today. I mean, this car is so clean. The color on this 289 is awesome. Just the, I would say, jet black, but just the raw, visceral experience you get through these Cobras is just so awesome. What makes these really bring in such high dollar amount other than obviously the supply of them is so little and they're hard to get in original? There's Factory 5 that makes replicas these days. There's backdraft Cobras that are out there on the streets. But what's really the main difference with the original Cobra compared to the newer backdraft Factory 5s?
So they're the same platform, really. They have their own different styling touches. They have their own different mechanical bits to them, but it's really the same idea. The only difference is that the original cars are so much more raw and so much more from the 60s that you know that you're in one of these. I've been fortunate enough to drive a real black 289 Cobra just like this. And it is a different experience. It is a little bit more raw. It's a little bit more unrefined. But the original Cobras changed the game for sports cars in America. It was a European design and chassis that got renovated and had a big old Ford V8 slapped in them. And it just took to the Corvettes and Ferraris like nobody else. And
to that point, Josh, racing history with these, this is really where they started, was on the track, correct?
100%. That's where Shelby made his bread and butter. He was a driver. He got with AC. He bought the rights to the AC Aces and turned them into his own with the help of many icons. Obviously, Bob Bondurant driving, with Ken Miles driving, with a great group of designers, made these cars so darn fast and competitive that they were just wiping the floor, and at the very end they obviously put the big block 427s in them, this one being the small block. And this is really where these cars won a lot of their races. These cars were so well balanced that they were really years ahead of what other sports cars were. And the limited amount of them and what they did to the car world is why they're worth so much money. I mean, this is $1 million car.
Beautiful car, and we see some original. We've seen a couple of originals come out to Cars and Coffee here in Indianapolis a couple of times. It would be great to see a couple more, even though we do see some backdrafts and factory fives, which are awesome as well. So come out to Indianapolis Cars and Coffee, check some of the cars that come out. There are some really cool cars here at Mecum, such as this 289 Cobra, and we look forward to seeing you.
The 300 SL, one of the most classic blue chip collectible cars in the world. We've got one here in Indy, gray over black. Cole, I know cars like this hit a sweet spot for you.
They do. I love this car. It is a special car. Thinking of values, if you're a buyer out there and you deploy into this thing and purchase it, you're not going to get burned. I mean, these things have gone up over time, obviously, probably pushing $1.8, $1.9 million, let's just call it. But hang on to this thing for 5 or 10 years, you're going to be doing quite well.
They keep going up, and I don't think they will ever really stop. And the cool thing is obviously we know these cars really well for the gull wing, the coupe version with the doors that go up. But from a driver's standpoint, from what I understand, the drivability on these cars are so much more pleasurable that really this is actually a better experience because you don't have to worry about the weird ergonomics of the doors. They obviously don't have air conditioning, so they get a little bit uncomfortable. But I've heard
well, you put the top down, you got the wind coming in.
You're good to go with these. You are good to go. The 300 SL, we're here. It's beautiful.
What kind of power's packed into this thing? What really gets this thing going?
It's right around the mid 200 horsepower range, but it's not all about the power. It's just the delivery is so smooth. It's the fuel injected 6-cylinder. That's what Mercedes has been known for years.
And the looks, of course. I mean, this thing is
stunning.
This is beautiful. How about going to dinner on a Friday night and pulling up in this? That wouldn't be too bad, right?
That's going to be awesome. I think $1.5 million is what we're going to go for on this one.
All right,
Mark my word.
This is Cole with Indianapolis Cars and Coffee. We're at Mecum today. Josh, what are we looking at here?
Oh, we're looking at a great piece of muscle car history. The winged warriors of NASCAR, the 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona. Only 503 of these were made with all engines. And you can see it's not your normal Charger yet, something kind of big sitting here. Cole?
Quick question. Was this actually, from an engineering standpoint, did it do something or was it more aesthetics? Because
it 100% was from an engineering standpoint because they ran these cars in NASCAR in 1969, and to meet regulations they had to build 500 street cars of whatever they were racing from a body standpoint and an engine standpoint.
Okay.
So they had the HEMIs, they made plenty of those, but they didn't have Chargers with this crazy wing and the nose cone on the front, which we'll check out in a moment. But they had to make these to pass regulations. And on the big tracks in NASCAR, Daytona and Talladega, you couldn't touch these things. They were missiles. They were the first NASCARs to do 200-mile-an-hour laps.
Wow.
There are only 503 street versions built.
They had Hans devices back then, right?
Sure. Lap belts.
Well, let's go around to the front here.
Yes.
Let's check out the front. Beautiful black interior in this Daytona we have here. The color of this car is absolutely beautiful. Great condition. Josh, talk a little bit about a design standpoint from the front end of these.
So the nose cone, it really helped kind of bust through the air because the regular Chargers were just flat nosed, almost kind of like that Camaro over there. They were flat nosed. So from an aerodynamic standpoint, at the high-speed super speedways, they really didn't do anything. They were useless. So to cut through the air better and to have the front end of this car really do its job, you need to have this nose cone and then the rear wing to hold the back of the car down, and it actually helped. And after 1970, the Superbird came up after this. NASCAR basically was like, yeah, we're going to outlaw that kind of stuff. So this car really outlawed itself after a couple of years.
Wow. So from a production standpoint, did this start in 69 and stop in 70? Or
they only made it for 1 year. 1969, only 503 made. This one's got a 440 engine. They also optioned the HEMI engine, which is a significantly rare and more valuable version. The following year, Plymouth took the design, did their own. And that was based off the Roadrunner. That was the Superbird. They made 1,920 of those, but they're still awesome. They are very cool.
Not 1,921, but 1,920.
Who knows? You never know back then.
I'll leave it to you.
They're flirting with numbers. But these cars, the Wing Warriors, they busted NASCAR down. They are icons. They look crazy, but for me, man, they pull the heartstrings just the right way. These are now about $250,000 plus cars, even with the standard 440 engine. So this should be a highlight car this weekend.
Good deal. Come check it out. Mecum, Indianapolis. We got something special here at Mecum in Indianapolis. I'm Cole from Cars and Coffee here. And Josh, we have this Nissan Skyline here, but it's a little special. It's got some heritage to it, and it's from Japan. Could you tell us a little bit about the Japanese gentleman's rule?
Yeah, so Japan, when they started making their really high-performance cars in the late 80s, early 90s, the gentleman's rule is where they really over-engineered these cars, but they limited all of them to 276 horsepower.
In quotations.
Quotations. Right? So the 300ZXs, the NSXs, all of them were right at that number. But in reality, a car like this really made well over 350 horsepower. The engines, they are turbocharged straight six, the RB26, which now gets put in a ton of different cars for hot rodding.
And those were the engines that you see tuners nowadays. They're tuning those up to
900 horsepower easily.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
correct?
The blocks on these they're bulletproof.
Okay.
But these cars with the all-wheel drive system that they had on them, with the over-engineered Japanese technology, these cars in the late 80s, early 90s absolutely broke what were touring cars and sports cars over in Japan, almost like what the Daytona did with NASCAR. Because in the touring car series in Japan, these just wiped the floor for years. The Calsonic liveries, the blue with the white, no one could touch those cars. They were absolutely dominant. And the street version with the V-Spec, which is a higher level performance, just tweaked a little bit more, is a 22,000 original mile example, and this is a cream puff gem from this era, and this is really the top of what you could get. So we'll see some crazy numbers for this car.
It's a beautiful car. The right-hand drive, that sticks out. If you're not familiar with these are straight out of Japan. It is a beautiful spec we have here.
And these weren't legal to be imported after 25 years of being brand new. So now the R34, which this is the R32,
yes.
The R34 is the big King Kong from the value standpoint and the Fast and Furious history to it. But in my opinion...
So do you think this one's a little understated from a value standpoint?
Yes, because I like the looks of these better. They are a lot more pure, simple,
yes.
Sexy, and they have the racing heritage. So for me, the R32 GT-R, especially the V-Spec, is the JDM car to have and hold on to. I love them. I can't wait to see what this thing goes for. I wouldn't be surprised to see 140 plus.
Wow. We'll see. It's quite a car. We'll see what it brings in. This is a 2006 Ford GT. Josh, this is probably one of my personal favorites here we have at Mecum in Indianapolis.
You and me both.
That's right. A couple things about this car. What I really like about it is that really when this came out back in the mid-2000s, it was super hot. From a popularity standpoint in the car scene, it kind of flew under the radar for those next 6 to 7 years.
Yes,
values went down. Not too long ago, you could pick one of these up for probably low 200s, mid 200s, and really find a good deal, not knowing where they would be at today. But
absolutely,
as we know, there's a ton of history with these Ford GTs. Josh, tell us a little bit about particularly this generation of Ford GT and why the values have just skyrocketed so much.
For one, the design is pure. For two, it's the big old thumping V8 in the back, supercharged, 550 plus horsepower. There was almost nothing added to these cars. I know they didn't have radios. I know that they didn't have power steering. I mean, these cars were so raw. It was a true throwback to the original GT40s from the 1960s. They had the looks, they had the sound. They only made about 4,000 of them over the couple years they made them. And Ford just nailed it. They dialed it in.
I totally agree. Just the analog feel to these cars, the manual transmission, it is a true race car for the street. Going back to what they truly made these cars for, I mean, we've all seen Ford versus Ferrari, the race over there across seas, Le Mans. So it's really cool to see just a lot of younger people get into this generation of a Ford GT if you can afford it. Obviously, there is the newer generation Ford GT that they're wrapping up as we talk right now from a production standpoint. But from a value standpoint, in a collection, in your garage, you can't go wrong with this car.
No, it's a staple. It's becoming America's version of the 300 SL. Or 1960s V12 Ferrari. It's like, this is a car that you need to have. And they look the part, and they're just absolutely wicked cool in every sense of it. And I think there's more room to go on these cars.
This is Cole with Indianapolis Cars and Coffee, and who do we have here?
Zeke.
Zeke, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming out to such a cool day. It was really special at Mecum. And what's your favorite car?
A Corvette.
Awesome. Corvettes are great cars. What about a favorite color? You got a favorite color with the Corvette?
Cherry red.
Cherry red. Iconic color with the Corvette. Hey, ask your dad, get a bidder's pass, go out there, and maybe you'll roll out of here with one. Sound good? I'm Cole McCardle with Indianapolis Cars and Coffee.
And welcome to the Mecum Indianapolis Spring Classic. We're in the middle of the action. Cars are running. The atmosphere is electric. We're having a great time looking at all these awesome cars from all different kinds.
A lot of cool stuff going across the block today. It's going to get better throughout the week here at Mecum. Josh, what's been one of your favorite things that you've seen?
Well, the Black Ghost is a special one. It's one of a kind. It's an icon. It'll set records. The McLaren Elva is awesome.
Yeah, that was a great one.
The Duesenberg Model J is really pretty. And all their racing Corvettes, the Le Mans Corvettes are awesome too, the 60s and 70s.
I agree. Newer car, that C8 Z06 in the Rapid Blue, that was good.
We got a good show ahead, guys. All right, the Mustang GT 1966, ready to go. A couple cars up. See what it goes for. The Survivor GT is ready to go. It's looking good before the block. Let's see what it goes for. High 20s maybe. We'll find out. Here we go. One more to go. It's the Scout. It's the Survivor. 4x4s are hot right now. Hoping this one does strong. It looks great. Here we go. It's hot rod time. Red with the Shelby wheels, HEMI under the hood. Here we go. The DeTomaso Mangusta, the car that was before the Pantera. Absolutely stunning Ghia design. Ford 302 in the back, 5-speed, the perfect blend of Italian and American. Check out how the engine bay opens up. It's basically like a gull-wing door, but for the big old Ford 302. This thing is absolutely awesome. One of my favorite cars here at the show. One of the best car events in the world is the Monterey Car Week. This is a little preview of what's going to Mecum Monterey. The Ferrari Super America, the Ferrari 330 GTC, and the 250 Lusso. All V12 front engine from the pinnacle of Ferrari. These are all multi-million-dollar cars, and this is what you see tons of out in Monterey. It's a stunning show. The highlight of the show runs today, the Black Ghost. the Detroit Street Racer unrestored HEMI RTSE here on Friday. Big car. Will probably set the world record for a Challenger. This is what Mecum's all about. Muscle and icons right here. Little special interview we got in front of the Black Ghost. Some original family members from the original family, the Qualls family, who has owned this car since day one. Gentlemen, how you feeling today? I'm Josh.
Cleo.
And how you guys feeling?
Excited.
Feeling excited, man. It's been a wonderful journey, and I'm excited to see what happens in a little bit.
Awesome. So how did you guys get linked up with Mecum Auctions? What's the story of that? Why did you guys choose Mecum?
Well, with Greg, you know, we just follow what he does, and when they reached out to him about the car, that's when you know, we got involved in it. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So we just been kind of traveling with him, and the car's been traveling on a little tour. So
Yeah.
we're just going around with him, supporting him.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, good luck to you guys today. Congrats on having an awesome piece of history, and this is the place to do it.
Absolutely.
It's Mecum, it's May, it's Indy, it's Muscle. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. There are plenty of cases where you're at a car show, at a car meet, and they're saying, oh, that looks like that could be in Fast and Furious. This case, this is an actual Fast and Furious Mazda RX-7, the iconic rotary-powered legend, the red, the crazy graphics on it from Fast and Furious 2, the second movie. They actually had it in a couple different Fast and Furiouses, a part of the iconic movie series, which there's another one coming out here in about the next couple days. So, piece of movie history on the block coming our way. The legendary Gone in 60 Seconds. This is a recreation of Eleanor, the car from the movie, the crazy looking Mustang fastback that really helped start the entire resto mod trend. This one with a big old supercharged Roush Coyote, the gray, the black, the wide body kit on it. This thing looks bad to the bone. Month of May in Indy couldn't be complete without Indy Cars, and we've got two real ones, two iconic ones. This one, Mario Andretti's 1984 championship winning car, the Lola T800. Mario, obviously one of the greatest race car drivers of all time. This one, a piece of his storied career, winning the 1984 IndyCar Championship. And Brian Herta's 1996 Reynard with the Shell sponsorship, showing how different these cars looked 12 years apart. They're looking similar to these today, but they still make innovations to the day. They're still fast as hell. And these two are absolutely minty with their great looking paint schemes. Can't be complete without supercars, McLaren, bright orange, just like their Papaya Racing liveries. A little bit different color here, but the 570S, a flagship from McLaren, the best from technology and performance. Everything here at Mecum, all across the board, capped off with the McLaren. Le Mans heritage from 1969, brought into the modern era. The Ford GT Heritage Edition with the 550 horsepower supercharged Ford V8 with the bright blue and orange Golf livery of the 1969 Le Mans winner Jackie Eakes, Jackie Oliver. This was the first rendition of the Heritage Edition. They made 181 of these in 2006. And then you go fast forward in the modern Ford GT. The Heritage Edition. The same car, just a completely different look to it. The crazy, great looking vents on the side. Still has the Heritage paint scheme, the carbon fiber, the twin turbo EcoBoost V6. They both look fantastic. This is iconic as Lamborghini gets. Bright orange, the Lambo doors, the screaming V12, the wings, the whole 10 yards. The Aventador is and always will be an iconic Lambo. 691 horsepower, over 200 miles an hour, loud as can be. From a stylistic standpoint and from the exhaust, these cars will always be awesome. The Buick Grand National, the street-going turbo V6 version of Buick's NASCAR, the Grand National Series legend. The 3.8 liter Turbo 6 under the hood made these one of the fastest cars in the world in the 1980s. Faster in a straight line than a Corvette. These things were stupid quick. And this one is a time capsule, 223 original miles. The black over the gray. This is iconic as 80s as you can get. These cars have been bringing an insane amount of money the last couple years, and they just keep going up. They are a staple of the 1980s Americana. Here's something you don't see every day. You could buy an entire race fleet, all for one lot. 2 Daytona Prototypes. Riley and Scott was the manufacturer on these, both of them with Pontiac engines. This one's got some serious history. Scott Sharp, Vitor Mira, and Justin Bell have all driven this car. You get both cars, all the tires, all the kit, and you get even a racing trailer, everything together, one bit. That's crazy. You could go racing with all your buddies. Money, Mecum Friday, 1967 Shelby GT 500, Night Mist Blue, $265,000. Oh, does that sound good? One of my favorite cars of the entire auction. Cars with provenance, bing the money. Here we go. The Black Ghost is ready to rock. A major moment in muscle car history about to take place Mecum Friday. The reserve has come off. We're just shy of $1 million. The Ghost is going to a new home. $975,000. The Black Ghost has sold. Major money in the room for a very, very special Mopar.
1,698 miles. Supercharged, 800.
The Ghost has sold $975,000. World record for a hardtop Hemi Challenger. That's awesome. History in the making.
140, 150, 140, Hamilton out of it, 150, Hamilton out of it, 140, 150.
Mecum Indy delivered every way possible. Any kind of car was here. Tons of cars selling. Huge crowd on hand. The Indy car community, it is awesome. Thank you to everyone that's involved with Indianapolis Cars and Coffee. I'm Josh from Motor Vault. We had a great time. Thank you, Mecum Auctions, for sponsoring. And we'll see you guys next year for Mecum, and we'll see you at the next Indy Cars and Coffee.